Alright, sweet. So, GDevelop has a new game jam. And this one's an insane jam because it's in 3D now. What? 3D game jam in a 2D engine? It's kind of crazy how they're just implementing 3D features into this engine so soon. So soon. I should say. It's kind of crazy how they're implementing 3D features in a 2D game engine. It's been 2D since it started and suddenly it's 3D now. I mean, it's early and stuff, but anyway, here's the theme if you guys are curious.
The theme for GDevelop's 3D game jam is navigate.
Navigation. Okay, navigate is the theme, and there you go. I've already joined. There's 8 days and 15 hours, blah blah blah, left right now. 750 people joined. No entries done, of course. And am I ready to begin? So yesterday I downloaded this new version of GDevelop. It actually fixed an issue I had with this project, which was auto-focusing on the text input object. See, now autofocus is on this. There's another update? What? So I made this as like my first ever time trying out this 3D. You can jump. It looks jank, you know? You can sprint. There's no collisions for anything. You can't fall off. But you can jump. So it uses the mouse. It's WASD movement. Although I made it kind of realistic, so you move faster when you're going forward. So the more closer you are to going forward in your direction of movement, the faster you go. But yeah, I was gonna make these have collision, like kind of like cast below elevation of the player minus 85 or something, because it's the height of the player is 85. I was also trying to remove air movement, like air control. Anyway, that was my first time trying out the 3D yesterday, and I did use a lot of code from some of the provided examples on their page that they encourage you to use, because it's, of course, there's really not much else to set up. Like, this pointer lock extension is insane for all. I finally started using these groups of events. I always use comments, but these are way better, and they're blue, and that's better than yellow. Well, supposedly I have an update for GDevelop to install, so let me do that. Okay, it's updated. I'm really curious to see what these patch notes are. Looks to be the same. Yeah, this is the same. I guess before it was in early access, that's how I downloaded it on GitHub directly, but now there's like an official release that they released alongside of it. I don't know for sure. Anyway, all of this right here is what I'm going to be taking over to my new project, so might as well go maybe add this right here and stick it there, put all these down one so I can copy them all universally. And then I go file, create a new project. I'm gonna call it navigate jam. I don't know, that works. Jam 3D is gonna be the project file name. I always start off with 1080p as like the default for me, and then I change it afterward, but yeah. And of course I want to have my grid 20 and 20 are like a decent low common denominator, so use that. And show grid. I kind of wish that it automatically showed the grid when you pressed setup, like when you applied the setup grid. Now I'll go paste in these events here. Of course, nothing's going to be understood here because, oh, unknown or unsupported function. Must I get the pointer lock extension first? And then I also need FPS. Oh my gosh, they made an extension for this. Well, I'm gonna make it a little bit more original. Okay, so I have all these and stuff. It's alright, but I still have some functions inside of... Yeah, over here, FP sync function. This is an extension I made for myself. Wait, let me save. Okay, file, open recent. I use this in almost all of my maps because this makes me able to synchronize events regardless of frame rate. Like, the values will be readjusted according to frame rate, unless they're going to be like kind of asynchronous. FP sync is right here. You can now copy and paste behaviors and effects and everything, so that's awesome. And the FP sync function now works, and now it's just all up to adding the camera object. Oh, before I do that, I need to go into, what is it, scene? I forgot how to get there. Oh yeah, layer properties. Layer. Display both, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Field of view, I like to be at 90. Just, you know, it's cool. Time to make my first box. PT ground. PT standing for prototype. I am going to make my own image as a means of prototyping this. It's going to be a solid color. 1 pixel. It does not need any left, right, top, or bottom face. It just needs the front face. I'll put this into the area. In fact, it needs to be a bit bigger than that. Elevation 0. Depth is doesn't really matter if I remember. It does actually matter. Well, I need to add the camera object first, as it seems. It needs to be named exactly as camera. I just not have anything shown. What is it gonna? Yeah, perfect. Elevation is going to be 85, and there you go. I've now imported my 3D movement into here. This is a big floor. I also want to allow for unlimited frame rate. Ooh, smooth. You don't see it because the video is recorded at 30 frames per second, but smooth. Now let's add some test objects. I'm going to copy the image from here. Yes, make a copy. So here's something, you can't just copy and paste it to each one of these. It won't recognize it. But that's okay, there's a workaround, it's really simple. Supply, go back in. Now we're able to select it. There's gonna be a box right here. Elevation, no. 100, and then this one's gonna start off with a depth of 25, 50, 75, and 100. It's looking very similar to what it did in my previous project. Alright, for the rest of this time, I will be just having this time lapse because I really can't commentate while making things very well.